Sometimes being alone is a good thing. Out on the boat, with your family, at sunrise or sunset, dolphin watching, the calm of an empty beach. These are peaceful and happy and relaxing times. But buying a boat from someone you do not know, in a town you've never heard of, in a state you may have never even been to, that is scary. But it doesn't have to be. I have helped thousands of people just like you navigate through this process. Whether you need financing or not, let me help you make this a little less scary by giving you the knowledge and tools that you'll need in order to buy that boat from a private seller. Hi, I'm Scott Bradshaw from YourBoatMoney.com, the internet's #1 source for getting money for your next boat purchase. In this video, we're going to talk about the 3 main points to buying a used boat from a private seller and make this a little less scary. Getting ready to buy, buying, and then what to do after you've bought the boat. Now, buying a new boat from a dealership is a little different, right? It's a lot like buying a new car. The price is listed on the sticker. You negotiate with the salesperson as you see fit. You add a power pole, you add some electronics, you do what you do to make it yours. You're happy with the deal, and you want to take her home. The dealer will most likely have in-house financing as an option. That's not always the best choice, but that's for a different video. They have all the paperwork on hand, and you can probably leave with that boat the same day. Within reason. You may have to add a few days for those speaker upgrades that you wanted to put on this boat. But what about buying a boat from a private seller, out of town, or from a broker? So what's next? Let me give you a few pointers and things to make this a little less scary. First is determining the value. There are several tools available to you as the consumer for determining the value of your boat. Some are easily accessed by you, while others require a subscription. Most importantly, it's your gut. What do you think this boat is worth, right? If you're not getting financing on it, it really is up to you. The most common tool used on the banking side of things to determine a boat's value is J.D. Power's NADA or NADA. A quick online search will turn you onto that tool. Now, some manufacturers and custom boat builders will not be listed in NADA, and that's okay. We'll get to that and why that may be in a different video. Once you're at NADA, you can build the boat just like you would build a car. You can add the engine, you can add accessories, you can add the trailer, and the non-subscription service will give you a pretty good idea of what average retail and high retail should be on that boat. You can also look at listings on many websites like boats.net and The Whole Truth and Facebook Marketplace. If you're on Facebook, there's a user group for almost every kind of boat out there. Sea Hunt, Cobia, all these boats, they have user forums. You can find boats for sale in there and lots of opinions about what boat values will be. Now just remember that listing price does not necessarily reflect selling price, but it's what people are asking for it, and it'll at least give you a pretty good idea of where these boats are landing. Well, Scott, how about a survey or a mechanic's inspection? The short answer is yes, especially if the boat is not close by. A survey is a valuable tool. Surveyors have access to the subscription model services for pricing, soldboats.com and Buck and a few others that you may not have access to, and they can help you determine what the market price of that boat really should be. Surveys can also save you a lot of headaches in the future by finding problems with the boat that maybe the owner didn't even know existed. Now, surveys aren't free, they do cost, and they take some time, and a survey can cost you the deal if a cash buyer is there ready to go and not asking for one. You may miss that deal. In the link section of my website, you'll find the logos for NAMS and SAMS. Click on either one of those, it'll take you out to their respective websites where you can put in the zip code of the boat that you're looking at, and it'll give you a list of accredited surveyors in that area that can go out and take care of this for you. If you end up getting a loan, depending on the age of the vessel and the amount you borrow, the bank may require a survey anyway. So you're happy with the price and the condition of the boat and you're ready to move ahead? Awesome. There's a few things you can do to protect yourself and the seller. Let's get into those now. So let's start with a cash sale in mind. And I'll emphasize the difference if you decide that you're getting a loan. The first thing on my list is a purchase agreement. Now, a purchase agreement is a contract between you and the seller, and it lays out the conditions and the terms of the contract. On this agreement, you list the parties to the transaction, the buyer and the seller. You'll also list the collateral, the boat, the motor, the trailer, and the price that you agreed to, and the conditions that the contract may be subject to. Think sea trial, survey, financing approval, basically anything that can break the contract and get your deposit money back. And you guessed it, there's a blank purchase agreement available on my website. It is not branded, it doesn't have any of my information on it, it's just a tool for you to use for this transaction if you so choose. But now you're going to ask me, Scott, do I have to do a purchase agreement? Absolutely not for a cash transaction, but I do highly recommend it. If you decide to borrow money for the boat, you absolutely must do a purchase agreement that lays out the conditions and the collateral, and then it must be signed by both parties. If the seller owns the boat outright, you should verify that the title and the registration match the seller's name on their driver's license or other document. It is up to you to prove that the person that you're buying the boat from actually owns the boat and has the authority to sell it. If it's listed in a trust or if it's listed in an LLC, ask for a copy of the documents for the trust or the LLC so that you can see who is actually able to sign that document. We can get into that in another video about titling and documentation and all that at a later time. Next, you should get the seller their money and complete a bill of sale. Now, some states have bill of sale on the back of their title. You can sign that, or you can get the blank bill of sale form from my website and take that with you. Only the seller signs the bill of sale, and I always recommend that the seller's signature be notarized, and if it's on a title, it has to be notarized in order to be valid. Now the signing of the bills of sale are complete, feel free to give the seller their money. They should give you all of the paperwork that they have for the boat, if the MSOs, if they have them still, the titles, the registration, all the different moving parts of the boat. And now you're going to take those with you to your state or your home and go into DMV or DNR and transfer that boat into your name. Now, every state is different on what they require, so do your homework on this before you show up at DMV and DNR trying to move a title and registration into your name without the proper paperwork. We all know how that's going to go. Side note on the bills of sale, every state is a little different in what they're going to want to see on that. In Florida, for example, bills of sale for private transactions where there is no broker or dealer involved should be broken out into a bill of sale for the hull, the motors, and the trailer separately. Why? Because you only pay taxes on the hull and the trailer in the state of Florida on a used transaction when buying from an individual. In the state of North Carolina, for private transactions, there are no taxes. For all other transactions, it's 3% sales tax capped at $1,500. And don't even get me started on trailer titles. In another video, we're going to have a conversation with our title clerks and third-party vendors. They're going to get a chuckle for sure when we start talking about trailer titles. They can be the bane of our existence in the loan world. What if the seller has a loan on the boat? This can get tricky if there's distance between you and the seller, so bear with me here. The easiest scenario is to go to the bank where the seller has a loan and make the payoff there with the seller. If it is not practical to go to the bank with the seller, then there's going to be an exercise of trust if you're paying cash. The seller's bank will give them, upon request, what is called a 10-day payoff letter. That letter contains all the information needed to pay off the loan. The 10-day section tells you how much to pay in order to account for any interest that may be accrued between the time the letter is generated and the time the funds actually get to the bank. If you are planning to let the seller make the final payment, then there's a few things that you're going to need from the seller. First, you want to see a paid in full letter from the bank. And second, you will want a warranty of title form. Again, available on my website. The warranty of title form simply says we will send you the title if the bank sends it to us. This form should always be notarized. Now, if you want to pay the bank and have the title sent to you, then there must be a payment authorization form signed by the seller telling the bank that you have permission to make that payoff. That form is not available on my website. It's best for you to be on the phone with the seller and call their bank and have a conversation with them. They can send you that letter to sign. Now, if you're getting a loan on this, we handle all of that paperwork with the seller's bank and you don't have to worry about that. Now, if the seller has a loan on the boat, and they owe more than the sales price, you can see how this might be a problem. I do not advise giving the seller money if they owe more for the boat than what your purchase price is. If they own it free and clear, give them whatever you have agreed to. If you are taking a loan on this boat, the money given to the seller is counted towards the down payment. All of the down payment actually goes to the seller, unless there's a payoff on the boat, and we might have to work out some of the moving parts of that in order to make the seller's bank whole. Now we're finally done and the boat is yours, right? Wait, no, not yet. This is where all the preparation pays off. It's time to title and register the boat in your name in your state, or get a Coast Guard document in lieu of state title and then register if your state requires that as well. If you have your bills of sale and the signed title in hand and all properly executed, this is an easy task. Well, as easy as the DMV or DNR can be. As I said earlier in the video, we'll spend some time chatting with our title agents and hit the high points of Coast Guard documentation, state titling, registration, and taxes. So, subscribe and hit that notification bell to know when that video comes up. That's it for this video. I really hope you found this information about buying a used boat from a private individual helpful. If you've had any experience with a purchase of your own from private sellers or brokers and would like to help others out, leave a comment down in the comments section below. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe if you want to know when the next videos are coming out. Thanks, and I can't wait to see you out on the water.